not urinating on the fire, man.
Yeah, we suck right now, so
That's about it. You can run straight.
The culture is actually damn good.
We're already a month into the NFL season and nothing makes sense. You know what else doesn't make sense? Tree Picks! Deliciously partnered with Underdog, your source for daily fantasy and pick'em for the NFL. Let's see how last week went for my bad picks. How the hell do you tie? In fact, how did the Giants not take advantage of the Cowboys' poor run defense? Who knows? When will I stop? Never! Tampa Bay and Atlanta, a former tank division matchup that's looking rather exciting this season. In terms of my picks, Drake London doesn't get long receptions, but he gets significant volume. For receiving yards, I'm picking higher for him. Most notably, Bijan's banged up. Tyler Algier has played a larger role in the offense over the past few weeks because of it. So he's higher for his rushing yard total. Bucks are hard to tell for yardage. Atlanta's defense is stout, and Tampa Bay's running game is, shall we say, suboptimal. Rashad White's had a very rough year, and that continues by going lower on his yardage total. Cade Otton, however, has played a bigger role in the offense as of late. So I'm going higher for him on reception yards total. As for Younghoe Koo, higher on the point total. Has to be. It's an AAF legend. It'd be blasphemous if I picked lower for him. Think you can do better? You should. And pick him on Underdog helps you make your dreams in exposing my lack of ball knowledge come true. Higher or lower for countless stats in every game. What will you pick? Daily promos and free picks throughout the week. You can't go wrong. So click the link in the description and use promo code UTREE to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash on your first deposit. Plus a special pick in the lobby. Everyone loves an underdog, you know? And don't forget to play responsibly. I figured this was going to be a close game. It's the overall trends of football this year. What I didn't expect was for the Cowboys to struggle this much and suffer that kind of attrition. The G-men were hanging tough, but just had no answers for the Dak to CD connection. To be fair, not many teams do. Give me a second, I have to wait for all these flags to stop flying. There we go. It says a lot more damning things about Dallas. You're supposedly an all-in team and you're having trouble against the Giants? They had no running game when people are running all over you. A real team would have beaten them by a lot more than 5 points. Any playoff caliber foe would have beaten them, yet New York tried to be like the commies and field goal them to death. Silly Giants, you don't have that power. The only might is in Pyrrhic victories. The price of winning is both DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons going down to injury. Two of the few dudes that can do anything on that unit lost for weeks. Thank God it's just Pittsburgh coming up. You aren't going to give up 400 yards to them, are you? The Battle of Ailing Cats. One has cat scratch fever. The other's just high off catnip. Which one is which? Depends on Andy Dalton being able to secure revenge against his old team. Unfortunately for the Panthers, they were playing a team that gave a shit. Cincinnati may be 0-3, but this is the epitome of a must-win contest for them. Red Rifle would try to go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow, and Carolina did look serviceable, but the duo of Joe and Jamar Chase refused to be deterred. Sure, the Bengals' defense sucks, but Carolina simply lacks the firepower to keep up with their foe. Blatant flaws and random ugliness aside, the skid is over. Burrow was just a man possessed. His first win with bleach blonde hair. It doesn't really prove much for them, though. The real test is next week. Baltimore lurks in the corner. They want you served on a platter. Will you resist their calls to be cooked alive? Or is their god-awful run defense gonna ruin them before they have a chance? You'd imagine after the utter ass-whooping the Bucs put on Philly last January, Nick Sirianni would have had his team dialed in to maintain divisional supremacy. Don't worry, I've got jokes for days. Mainly what the Eagles allegedly called an offense here. Tampa Bay came for blood and got more than their fair share. Philly didn't get any offensive yards for the first quarter and a half. Yeah, you're without your two best wideouts, but why not use Saquon in some fashion? Be better than Jalen Hurts going on his famous Jameis odyssey. Baker Mayfield just took their team logo and wiped his ass with it. After one of the ugliest wins in about a week, Eagles' victory chose to become an endangered species. Sirianni the Clown had his men so prepared for battle that they charged headfirst with a bathrobe and slippers. All but asleep and dead on the first charge. Slaughtered at their own game. Oh, they weren't ready, you say? No fucking shit! Tampa Bay, you have your bounce back game. Well done on putting these guys back in their place. Jordan Love is back after only a few weeks. weeks?
Unit ready.
Surprised, but you can't say this is a critical game for the Packers. It's too bad for them that the Vikings chose to come into Lambeau and continue the world tour of destruction. Aaron Jones and Sam Darnold, the two-headed beast that will take Minnesota to tremendous heights. Darnold's apparently the best quarterback known to man. It was supposed to be J.J. McCarthy's team, and it's been stolen from him temporarily. Endless fuck-ups by Green Bay, and I mean endless fuck-ups, have turned this into a Viking funeral for the Lambeau faithful. For 3 quarters. This shouldn't have been anything near a tight contest, yet the Vikings let the game come back to them. It's the closest thing to rubber banding AI I've seen in a professional football game. Kind of shit that NFL Blitz would pull back in the day. Jordan Love found mojo and got the Packers to fight back with everything they had. 22 points in the 4th to launch panic. Oh, if they only had a real kicker.
Nope.
If only Jordan Love didn't play fucking Chuck like Nick Mullins did last season. I can give the Pack credit for coming back, but what happened in the first half? Can't believe I'm critical of a 4-0 team's performance, yet here we are. The NFL's indeed a strange place. There's nothing quite like a Tomlin team going on the road and laying a gigantic egg against a supposedly weak opponent. Don't be fooled, this wasn't playing down, they just played like shit. And that was with Anthony Richardson being due for his routine injury and removal from the game. But what that means? The glory. Joe Flacco in the flesh. The legend has returned. His old man strength and elite quarterbacking will expose every weakness of this supposedly elite defense. Just run everything away from TJ Watt. Going weak side to emphasize the loss of Alex Highsmith was some solid scheming. Flacco's guidance prevented his opponents from getting off the field. A completely embarrassing day for the Black and Gold Brigade. The fact that the Steelers even had a chance in hell of winning this game is surprising considering how flat they looked for huge chunks of the contest. Can't establish the run, can't control the trenches, Justin Fields having to do everything while running for his life. Game over. Indy earned this. Solid coaching and scheming job by them despite more injuries. Pittsburgh just botches a snap on the final drive to put it out of reach. Welcome to Steeler football. Enjoy the ride. A critical juncture for the Bears. The fan base is livid with Shane Waldron. The players are livid with him too. The offense fails here like it did for large chunks of the first half, the situation would be perilous. Fortunately, the Rams are depleted and burned all their energy in beating the 49ers. Chicago took quite a bit to start up, but once they did, their faulty engine was enough to drive off with the win and a sense of security. Probably with DeAndre Swift at the helm. Not bad for a guy who was about to lose his role as lead back. It wasn't anywhere near pretty, but Caleb showed progress as a QB. He took what was in front of him, he didn't try to force throws, and he led his team to victory. This is the kind of stuff you need to see from a rookie. Maybe against an absolutely dead team in the Rams, but wins are wins. That'll at least get the heat away from Eberflus and Waldron for a bit. You should be thanking the man that saved their bacon, Tory Taylor. You want your punt god, you have him right here. Close second to that defense for nearly killing Matthew Stafford. 2-2 is indeed salvageable. Miserable, plodding, mucky, rain-soaked football as far as the eye can see. Hurricane Helene forced Denver to practice on a tennis court this week, and neither Jet nor Bronco could do a damn thing in this shitty weather. Gaze at this play-by-play. Only the American mind can comprehend such brilliance. This is one of the greatest football games I've ever seen. Punting. More punting. Missed kicks. Fumbles. Even more punting. It's so beautiful. A situation so stuck that Bo Nix had -7 passing yards in the first half. That is not a typo. Yet the Jets themselves couldn't break the weather nor Denver's defensive grip. And then something amazing happened. The Broncos did offense. Actual offense. Bo Nix threw a passing touchdown. Anything is possible. Except for the Jets' offense doing much of anything. Field goals are traded. And Denver rides to a 1-point lead. Neither offense can do much of anything. And Aaron Rodgers gets to be eaten alive by a young and hungry defense. Now, if only Denver could kick a field goal in these conditions, the Jets are going to get another chance. And they'll get into range themselves, but it's a 50-yarder. In these conditions, good luck.
Snap, Hennessy, hold, Morstead, 50-yarder! No good!
The Jets have to be kicking themselves. Any other scenario, they destroy the Broncos, but weather was the ultimate equalizer. Both of these teams are now 2-2. Denver is 2-2. Abandon all logic at the door, the Broncos are riding to a winning streak. Good God. Put up or shut up time, Duval. Only one team has ever made the playoffs with an 0-4 start. And you certainly don't look like the type to make that sort of surge. Trevor Lawrence hasn't just stagnated, you can make the argument that he and the offense have drastically regressed. They went from one of the more promising units to being unable to do a damn thing most of the time. It's infuriating. Jacksonville is literally getting every chance it can to win. Houston's begging them to do something about it. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they Venmo'd the Texans O-line to keep taking penalties. It's the third week in a row where Laramie Tunsil turned into a pre-snap penalty cornerstone. But what's Duval without terrible red zone offense? Move Press Taylor. What are you, crazy? They'll accept failure down there, for it is a necessary sacrifice. Besides, they still have the lead. I don't know how, but they have the lead. This is way too much pressure for the Jags, they must find ways to ruin it. They're late in the fourth quarter, up by 3. It's a must-convert drive, and you're passing the ball? For 2 straight downs. Your running game was doing all right. Why aren't you burning their timeouts? Well, good job, Doug. Your full-court press offense fucked up again. Your defense is exhausted, and C.J. Stroud is dicing down the field with all but no resistance in return. A comeback isn't just a possibility. It feels inevitable. Get it done, Texans. Put these frauds in the rubbish where they belong.
Run. A play fake. Stroud on the move. A good touchdown!
Houston tried to nudge them to success. All the Jags had to do was be anything resembling a competent team, and they couldn't even do that. The same damn things keep popping up. Nothing is being learned. This is the best team in Jags history? With the head coach who doesn't know why people are calling for his head? Houston merely swept up the trash. They're dancing through raindrops themselves, but who cares? A win's a win. Jacksonville could have really used one of those. A rivalry that only the South respects. Falcons and Saints eager to get back to their winning ways. 2 stubborn foes that refuse to budge for the other. In the painful sense. There's a reason why I'm not hot in New Orleans. There are at least 3 or 4 games a year the Saints piss away by unforced errors, derps, fuck-ups, or hypothetical acts of God. Guess what happened? Muff punts to offer a tasty New Orleans treat to all of Georgia. Derek Carr reminding Saints fans why they all hated his guts last season. With a deflected pass right to the hands of an opportunistic pick 6. It's another brutally aggravating performance harkening to days of 2023. New Orleans has all but shut down the Falcons' offense. And they're doing it without Demario Davis as their field general. They are the better team, but they keep getting in their own way. Even with the lead in reach, they practice restraint and choose not to take it. It doesn't matter the situation or scenario. If it's a 3-and-out or a failed 4th down conversion in the red zone, the Saints will march to their doom. Yet there's a beacon of light. Chris Olave is a beast, and momentum is finally turning their way. The Saints do it. They score a critical touchdown to take the lead. Up by 1, all they need is a defensive stop. Yet what's the final concoction? Pass interference on the defense. Gotta allow the receiver to catch the ball. Sorry, Adebo. That's the dagger assassinating this Saint. Here come the Falcons to steal away another game. And they embrace it.
Younghoe Koo from 58. It is good.
Put some respect on the damn name. Atlanta Legends legend Younghoe Koo. Driving a 58-yard kill shot to upend a team shooting themselves in the foot. New Orleans keeps getting opportunities to emerge into the elite, yet they keep failing without fail. The line doesn't make sense? Well, neither does New Orleans. Marks would agree it's time we have an honest conversation about the commies. Are they good? Really? Washington and good go about as well together as Dan Snyder and integrity. They're seizing the means of winning. Proves that even you can change your lot in life. All it takes is a complete overhaul of the organization and fresh blood injecting tremendous skill into the roster. Jaden Daniels continues his early tear throughout the league, taking whatever resistance Arizona had and swatted it away with ease. The Cardinals are trying to take baby steps. Here comes the Predator to swallow Kyler and company whole. A long sleeping giant is being awoken. The fan base is crawling out of emergency shelters everywhere, flooding Arizona with a sea of red. A new dawn for a new age. Leading the NFC East. Future may be closer than you think. Keep Jaden healthy, Washington. Don't make the same mistakes as you did in the past. 49ers may be on life support, but they get all but a bye week in name only. Facing the withered remnants of the Holy Patriot Empire. Their early sample size was an aberration. New England's defense is destroyed. Jacoby Brissett's being destroyed in real time. They don't have much talent, but Brock Purdy does. He will surgically stitch quality drive after quality drive with his arm and Jordan Mason pounding the rock. The Patriots had absolutely nothing. If hope was a New Englander, they'd wait for the tide to rise to wash them away. Just stop. They're already gone. Yet even for this outright stomping, San Francisco still must pay the blood toll. It's demanding Fred Warner. How much more must they take from the Niners? They're already withered beyond recognition. Is the Mountain Curse not just for CMC? Can the guts stop anytime soon? The bullshit is real. It always has been. If you don't believe it is, allow me to show you the light. The Kansas City Chiefs, God's chosen team. Only they can allow Patrick Mahomes to make bad turnovers that inflict severe damage in many ways. Only Mahomes can inadvertently run into Rishi runs, ending his game and potentially his season with a torn ACL. Not speeding in traffic this time, are you, Rishi? Besides, who needs him when the Chiefs' defense is going to clamp down and inflict horrible pain in their second home of SoFi Stadium? Colts are already without a huge chunk of their playmakers. But beating them outright doesn't give them a thrill. They like their prey to squirm before the kill. Chance to get more points? Take them! Wait, Dicker missed the kick. KC merely responds in kind with one of their own. How about a drive deep into Chiefs territory? A 4th and short near the goal line. It's botched. And it wouldn't have mattered since there was offensive holding. Tough shit, boys, you'll suffer the consequences of existing. Mahomes and the offense do their thing and score a touchdown while Jim Harbaugh pisses away timeouts. Kansas City goes to 4-0 with another wonderful win of needless acrobatics. Deus Ex Machina reigns supreme. Let it out, Justin. The Chargers really are bearing his spirit alive. The election coming up, a talking point is bringing high-paying American jobs back home. I have fantastic news. The Factory of Sadness has become fully operational after years of minimal staffing. The industry will produce endless glory for other NFL fan bases, especially those facing the Browns. Las Vegas was without Devontae Adams and Max Crosby today. Cleveland was still fighting this game from behind the 8 ball. Their offense can do nothing. And Deshaun wasn't anything close to being the issue. The whole team is fucked. Their offensive line's destroyed. Even Watson's getting livid at them. The Raiders can do little of their own, but it isn't a factory of sadness without hilarious hijinks that undo them at every turn. Nothing is pure Browns like a dart thrown to Amari Cooper right on the chest, yet it ends up as an interception because fate is an asshole. It's so Cleveland to force a tremendous turnover in Raider territory and run it back for a desperately needed touchdown. And then the factory produces a missed extra point. Always a goddamn caveat. Deshaun makes his best throw as a Brown, stepping up to find a crossing Amari Cooper to... Wait, Watson can have a good play in 2024. Oh no, there's a flag! Holding on the offense. Hold a Browns fan, they're in hell. Cleveland can't break through... whatever the Raiders are. Their offense is even worse than theirs, yet it's a 4-point deficit. Know how that extra point miss hurts? They go down the field but need 6. And that means going for it on 4th down in the red zone.
Watson, working Cooper's way. Pressure coming. He scrambles and is taken down.
Remember when Cleveland had hope? They're the Pittsburgh Pirates of football. 20 years of dog shit, a few years of glimmering hope, and then you go right back to being shit. Now we know the problem isn't Deshaun. It's every goddamn thing, including Deshaun. Perhaps the Browns were simply making business decisions to allow the Raiders to win? I don't know. Speaking of business decisions, the insatiable lust for drama tends to take over the Raiders. I figured this ended when McSnake Oil got canned, but a new dilemma has arisen. Devontae Adams. He came to the Sin City to play with his college teammate Derek Carr. That hasn't happened for years. He's frustrated with the mediocrity. The hamstring injury has us questioning if Devontae's played his last snap as a Raider. Don't even have to ask it. Antonio Pierce liked the post suggesting it on Instagram. Really, Antonio? Get your motivator, but you're the fucking head coach, man. Have some tact. Adams is all but checked out, and it seems all but over for him in the silver and black. And that's confirmed with Devontae requesting a trade out. He should be in high demand if he restructures his deal, but this is what divorce does. Someone gives up half their stuff for visiting rights on the weekends. What an ability to finish. What madness do you speak of today? I can't hear you over the sound of King Henry rumbling across the plain to crush his enemies. It's always such a great sight to continue to see him in his prime. There will be no stopping this train. It crushes everyone in its path, even a dominating force itself in Buffalo. Josh Allen? Who needs fire when sheer power crushes it? Those players will feed the machine. They will allow the king to wreak havoc on the poor souls the Bills call a defense. Over 200 yards on the ground was more than enough to secure victory on the battlefield. When he and Lamar are at peak form, there's little that can stop their rushing prowess. Only Harbaugh's actions, and even he couldn't undo it this time. Josh Allen was good, but he can't clone himself 20 times. It's just over. Bills got punched in the mouth as the Ravens reassert themselves in the Super Bowl conversation. They didn't even attempt to blow a sizable lead. I'm proud of them and their progress today. Keep it up, lads. Buffalo hasn't just been defeated by the Ravens handily, but apparently the Shield itself. Bills' defense is without a huge chunk of their playmakers. They're down to their sixth-string linebacker, so who else can they take out? Von Miller's having a nice revival season. A much-needed asset to their pass rush.
Oh no, what's this?
Von's arrest for domestic violence last year? We can't let that go unpunished. 4-game suspension. Josh Allen will now have to play defensive end to keep Buffalo relevant. Remember, the NFL is always right. Unless they're not. Yet they'll still say they're right. Who's ready for Will Levis versus Tyler Huntley? Don't scoff at me, this game's featuring a Pro Bowler under center. Even the football gods themselves couldn't polish this turd. There needs to be another curveball thrown in. Will Levis takes himself out with a shoulder injury. You couldn't even give him a first down for his efforts? He even gave us another meme to add to the bank. Instead, we get another AFC North grudge match. Mason Rudolph, the red zone reindeer, has taken the reins of this offense. And he's at least moving the damn ball down the field. Miami's complete inability to stop the run had a bit more to do with it, but Tennessee simply sucked less. I know, that's an amazing feat for them. As for Miami, I'd think it'd be wise to just leave them in the pile of misery they built for themselves. They are horrific. Even with Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley, their offense will not budge. Tua apparently has the keys to it. The free fall continues. When you finally score a touchdown for the first time in literal games, Tennessee wins by default. Now let's never talk about this disaster piece again. I can see why the NFL wants to have 2 Monday night games. If one game ends up being unwatchable slop like the previous affair, there's another chance to roll the dice. The league can't lose eyeballs, so they apparently transferred all of today's offense here. What we got was a fantastic air show, showcasing the talents of 2 franchises eager to rise to the NFC elite. It's going to be a battle of who has the most firepower. And unfortunately for the Seahawks, they don't seem to have enough of it. Remember my criticisms and concerns about Detroit's offense last week? The Lions must have heard them and told me to eat all of the shit. I think it's been finally revealed to its full potential. With might and strength, the Motor City roared throughout the 100-yard field in ways we more than expected. Jared Goff was perfection. Absolute perfection. I'm not even being facetious, he didn't miss a single pass tonight. He even flaunted his receiving prowess with a Philly special. Seamless execution, the Seahawks defense had no chance. A 3-0 team, albeit with a soft early schedule, was laid to heal. The Lions made an example of them by not making mistakes. Seattle had an early fumble and a failed red zone drive resulting in a turnover on downs. That's all it took. The Seahawks were good, but Detroit was flawless. Can't outgun that, sadly. The Lions should have generated more game balls. How did Goff not get one for his performance?
Bring out Jaden! Bring out Jaden!
Unit lost.
Bring out Jaden! Bring out Jaden!
Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost.
Oh, thanks very much. Oh, Joel. See you on Thursday. Right.
Panthers rush 4. Burrow has lots of time, and there's Jamar Chase with the catch. Breaking tackles. Chase down the sidelines. Panthers chasing Chase. They won't catch him.